I think one final thing I want to touch on, then there's a question here as well. We are going through somewhat of a layoff after layoff season in tech, and there is a lot of fear. What is going to happen? All tech companies going to shut down. This is overvalued. Will software engineers have jobs? What is your thoughts around this?
My hand is also shaking. I think for the past 10 years, I would say like 2010 to 2020 or until the part of COVID, right? We had this bull run, amazing bull run where you see all the stocks getting quadrupled or whatnot. And so many tech companies are coming and so many jobs have actually mushroomed for all of us, right? So I think maybe because we've always seen these huge bull runs, we are not used to a simple bear run as well, right? So yes, layoffs are happening in Microsoft itself. Layoffs have happened. I've known a bunch of very smart people who were, who who were actually laid off. So it's obviously part and parcel. And it's not that it's only in tech industry, in all industry it happens. I think we have to understand the reason behind it. There's a very deep reason behind it. First of all, I think if you read the statistics, right, all these companies, because of what we had in 2020 to 22, COVID, right? Because of the COVID, the usage of technology in general just skyrocketed, right? Now, it's just that if you see there's so many ed tech companies came out there because we just thought that normal a classroom teaching is a thing of past, like our school children will actually study through these companies only. So I think overall, maybe it created that fake impression of growth, which was actually not there in the market. So because of these overinflated numbers, I think there was over hiring. If you see the hiring numbers of Google, Microsoft, these big companies only, which are actually involved in the layoffs now, they hired a lot of people with a sense that because we will see that growth after COVID also. But post-COVID, the growth has minimized a little bit, right? It's not that these companies are not growing. These companies are still growing, actually. They're still making lots of money. But the growth numbers are not that higher. And the way the hiring works in these firms is not that they hire a person for a project right now. The hirings are done for 6 months after. Down the line, we'll have some project or a feature where we need some dev. So I think because of this less growth, slowness in the market, and plus if you see the macro economical factors also, there is a war going on overall in the world. The things are, you have inflation in place, the repo rate is increasing, the Fed, I think people hear this news. So because of all of these steps, the problem is to control inflation. The banks would actually compel you to spend less. So if you spend less, these companies won't grow at the pace that they were growing. So these multiple factors actually are the reasons that right now we are seeing these layoffs in all these companies also, because they also want to be safe, because it's a bit uncertain as well. But it doesn't mean that it will stay forever. If you see I think the best way to anticipate what will happen in the future is to see the past, in my opinion. I think you have the 2000 boom of CS itself, computers itself, which we call I think internet bubble or something.
The dot-com bubble, yeah.
Dot-com bubble, yeah. Sorry, yeah, that's the right term. The dot-com bubble. I think in the 2008 also it was very similar. It happened. When it gets bubble gets burst, obviously it will have impact for a couple of years. So I think I would say this was a bubble of COVID itself. Because of COVID, I think we had this overinflated numbers of growth, and suddenly it got burst when everything got opened. But it does not mean that in future these companies will not grow. Or if you see all these companies are spending heavily on new products, Microsoft getting involved with OpenAI, so they will actually employ more people to build these stuff. So I think they are a temporary thing. They have happened in the past. It's just that for people like us who are born, let's say in 1990s, we are maybe facing it for the first time. People who have experienced that 8 or 9 years into the industry, we've always seen the bull run. So completely it feels like everything is going haywire, but that's not the case. It's just a temporary hiccup, in my opinion. It might stay for a couple of years. I'm not saying that next month everything will be fine. It might stay for a couple of years, slow the hiring for a couple of years. Just slow. It's not that there's no hiring. If you still go to the hiring portals, there's so many companies that still hiring. There's no, it's not like you will be jobless. Definitely, if you are skilled and if you are equipped with building a software product, you'll always have someone who wants to hire you. So that is the bottom line that I understand. But yeah, for a couple of years, it might have some impact. But eventually things will come back on track as the history tells us. So after every beer run, you have another great bull run. So I think what I feel personally after 2008, I think that was the time 2007 when iPhone came along, right? And then the entire 2010 to 20, we have so many mobile applications and it created a lot of jobs, right? Uber, Ola, you see so many companies based on mobile itself. It created a lot of jobs. So similarly, the next boom, which I feel is of the AI boom. I think the next millions of jobs will be created in this field, similar to what happened with the iPhone. That's my actual prediction. And it does not mean, let's say, if you're creating an AI job, they only need AI engineers. They will need a DevOps guy also. They will need an SD also to integrate those APIs. So it's not just only people in AI will get job, but yeah, people in our tech industry would be more involved with these companies who are building the next level AI products.
Great. No, thanks for sharing that perspective. I think I agree completely that the blend of AI into software is finally happening in very meaningful ways. So very excited to see where that goes in the next few years. Yeah.
It's a very evolving field. It's something very interesting. So yeah, we have to keep a check on it.
Would you have any final pieces of advice for aspiring, budding, or young software engineers?
Let me think. I think we touched upon a lot of points, but I think the foremost or the most important point I would say is to not be so obsessed with the technological stack or the things that whether PHP would be there. I think I actually read a couple of questions that is PHP dead or is Java dead? I think nobody knows what is dead or not, but if you gain knowledge to build a software product in whatever tech stack you feel like, you'll be easily to sort of enhance your skill set in any other tech stack as well. So focus on building a product. And one more piece of advice that I would specifically give to people who are in college, right? That product building, of course, very important, but at the same time, data structures and algorithm is something that we should not ignore. It's one of the mistakes that I made initially when I started out. It's not that, again, I'm not saying that you have to be very good at CP, competitive coding, you have to be, 5-star in CodeChef or something. No, not at all like that. Just be able to do, let's say, lead code medium questions in 20-25 minutes. That should be the overall aim. But you should be well equipped with data structure and algorithm, because it's not just the part that it helps you to get into the first rounds. It actually also makes you a better coder as well, because if you have the vast knowledge of data structures and algorithm, you will be actually be able to write more optimized code eventually. So don't just think that it's something that I have to do to clear rounds. Have a good understanding of data structures. And of course, building product is of utmost importance, but don't ignore the part of DS. Otherwise, you would not be able to get into the doors that you want to just because you lack in this skill set. So I think with this, I would like to end it. And I think one more thing, sorry, I'm just whatever coming to my head is, of course, it's a very evolving field, technology. So keep yourself updated. I think get that habit. Like, for example, if somebody wants to be something good in law, right? So you have to read all blogs, journals related to law. Similarly, technology also, you should get a habit to, let's say, read a lot of blogs. If you see all these companies, Facebook, Netflix, Microsoft, they have their own tech blogs where you can actually see how did they solve a complex problem. Be a bit inquisitive around how these problems are actually tackled, and it will actually make you a better coder. And it's as I mentioned, it's a very evolving field. You have to, if you're getting into the field, you have to be certain that you'll always learn. It's like, let's say if you're 8 years into the field, it's not like you're learning a stop, now you're a master. No, it's like a new thing will come and you are basically level 0. I'll take a simple example. When I joined Microsoft, I couldn't understand anything in the system. So I was asking an intern intern was my main mentor. I was asking him everything, that how does this, that. So you never have to have that there's no space for arrogance in this field. You always have to learn. So always have that learning attitude whenever you grow in the field, and you have to have that. So basically develop that skill set to always learn something new. And yeah, I think that's the bottom line.
Great. Yeah. Very useful advice, very actionable as well. Thank you. Thank you so much, Samridh, for joining us today and taking out the time, sharing your journey, talking about so many interesting things.